Ladies and gents, Darnell and I are about to give you what you want. And what you want is WWE draft analysis and coverage. What you want is ratings talks for AEW versus NXT. And what you want is for us to brutally criticize how the franchise quarterbacks, aka the world heavyweight champions, were not taken number 1 and number 2 overall. We understand that you want us to cover this like a real draft because WWE wanted us to cover this like a real draft. So that's what we're gonna do. So sit back, relax, pop some popcorn, eat a Cliff Bar, do whatever it is you do at this time of day. I will not judge. And enjoy this week's edition of the Playmakers Blogs podcast, Wrestling. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, a lot of stuff has been going on, but the biggest story is that the WWE draft just happened. And Darnell and I have different opinions on how the draft went. So, before we go into it, how are you doing this morning, Darnell?
How you know I got a different opinion from what you're going to say about the draft?
Oh, well, I mean, you haven't said anything different in the non-recording sessions like on Twitter and stuff, or have you come over to my side?
We shall see.
Well, let's get into it then. I don't really care about the explanation because there have been tons of WWE drafts. And the last time there was a WWE draft where the big guns didn't go hot and early was when they did the storyline in 2006, when they were basically transitioning to the end of the Ruthless Aggression era, when John Cena went to Raw and Batista went to SmackDown. And they had the whole SmackDown Championship tournament that JBL won. Then Batista went to SmackDown at the end, and that was basically the match for No Mercy or something like that. That's about the last time. Every other time, the draft goes through every pick, and a big gun will go first. Maybe they'll do the switch, like they did the John Cena switch, where he got drafted to SmackDown, they got drafted back to Raw, did the same thing with Triple H, or whatever have you. But 71 superstars, that's great. There were big rosters back in the Ruthless Aggression era. You want to try to make both sides happy. You want to make USA happy, you want to make Fox happy. You can't give one network the entire draft, so you have to split it up a little bit. That's understandable. I even understand how they explained it. What I don't get is Raw was still going to be a wild card rule show, technically. You still, even though the draft order was set on SmackDown, had a match between Charlotte and Becky Lynch to reset the order again, gave Raw the order again, and then Charlotte did all that work just to get drafted to Raw. Darnell, it doesn't make sense to me when the big guns don't go first. Your world champions don't go first, but you're working hard to present this like an actual draft. They even did the line when Samoa Joe got drafted, where in the NFL draft, sometimes due to injury, high-level prospects slip. But this is a good pickup for Monday Night Raw. You can't do stuff like that when your world champions don't go on the first day. The NFL draft is 3 days. The NFL draft has multiple guys that were first-round grades that slipped down, but John Elway didn't slip down. Andrew Luck didn't slip down. Peyton Manning didn't slip down. Thoughts?
Well, that was pretty funny because when they said that about Samoa Joe.
Yeah, and it's wild because you see him with the Cavs, and it's like, wow. I mean, shout out to Joe and Cavs.
Shout out to Joe being a sportsman.
I know. Shout out to him being an analyst or just giving Renee the what for still. I'm glad to see his spirits are still up because going in the 5th round, somebody's going to get choked out for that.
So the thing is, by me saying what I was saying while we was talking on Twitter, wasn't telling you how I felt about the draft.
Okay.
They was trying to build some suspense, and I said it probably wasn't going to work. And eventually, it didn't work.
Yeah, because it was like super obvious on Monday Night Raw, which made it even dumber because it's like, wow, you made his way to week.
The whole Now on the first night to see who get the first pick, yeah. But just to do it again on Raw, like, come on, like we already had figured it out. Raw's gonna get the first pick because they get 3 picks and SmackDown only gets 2.
Yeah, you'd be confusing the hell out of everybody with the way that you have to design it and everything.
Like, it only took one night to figure that out.
Yeah.
Now, how the draft went, they could have put is whatever. I mean, round 3 from day one, that was, you can call that the women's slot because 3 women got taken in that round.
It was Becky and
nope. Not the first. I said the third. The third round. Oh. The third round of the first night was Alexa Bliss, Lacey Evans, and Natalya.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Until then, only Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks was the only ladies taken.
I think they did that, though, off of, I want to say, I'm trying to figure out the word, because they really botched the presentation of it being a real draft. But I guess, draft stock, like, at the end of the day, I mean, Lacey Evans, Natalya, and Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is probably the Russell Wilson example, where it's like, yeah, she's great. Yeah, they're going to go on to be great, but, concerns or blah, blah, blah. Because, yeah.
The problem was they split it up.
Yeah, and that was what my big ass, because you've got, and this is what, Darnell, just help me get through it. You don't want to have it be a realistic draft. The moment you have Becky Lynch go first, you're basically saying, okay, we don't know anything about it. We're going to literally do this football style. We're not getting NBA guys. We're not getting MLB guys. We're getting football guys. And we are going to have a safety go number 1 overall. But here's the crazy thing. We're going to have a safety go number 1 overall. But we're already planning our offenses. We already hired an offensive head coach. He likes to go West Coast. The fuck is he going to do with a safety?
To be honest, though, I'm not surprised at that.
I'm not either. But here's my thing, though.
See, you're looking at the Universal and WWE titles.
Yes, because here's the thing, now you have a pay-per-view
in the company right now.
You have a pay-per-view that's a glorified house show that the only 3 matches you've booked so far are a tag team turmoil, a WWE championship match, and now in something that really confuses me, because it's like, look, sometimes I understand perfectly when the wrestlers do smart comments to fans on Twitter. Sometimes I understand when they say shut up and just watch the product and blah, blah, blah. But then there's also times when you turn around and 3 months later, you got guys saying that they asked for their release again after re-signing. And then you have times where it's like, wait a minute, so you're going to have the Fiend lose at this glorified house show. The WWE draft is literally happening as we speak. The wild card rule is ending as we speak. SmackDown is going to have the WWE Championship. Raw is going to have the Universal Championship.
That's not surprising.
No, you're missing the point. The Fiend is going to face Seth Rollins again at Crown Jewel for the Universal title.
Yep. They did say they're supposed to be having some trades going down. So
Fox is not. No, Fox. Let's be real, Darnell. Come on.
Hey, I'm just reporting here.
But let's not be facetious though. They're already insulting our intelligence. Let's not insult each other's intelligence.
No, I'm just reporting what they said. I'm just reporting right now. This is not me giving my opinion and how I feel.
So that right there, if you're going to do that, if you're going to just go ahead and for the sake of Crown Jewel and the Saudi Arabia money, say, hey, we literally just said no wild card rule. But, and to be fair, Darnell, because we mentioned this too about the pay-per-view format and with Crown Jewel technically being, they want it to be so much. I just remember that one time where they said, Was it the greatest Royal Rumble where they were like, this is an event on par with WrestleMania or something like that, or was it Crown Jewel?
Yeah, they'll try to make it It was the first one. They were trying to make it WrestleMania, and I was like, and I suddenly came on here and was like, y'all was crazy. Y'all had y'all wrapped behind mine.
Yeah, so the pay-per-view format for the rest of the year is probably going to be co-branded. I honestly hope that they split the pay-per-views. Hopefully they realize they just ain't got the juice like that and make less pay-per-views. Because right now pay-per-views don't look that much different than TV. Because after doing this quote-unquote hard reset and still having everybody meet at pay-per-views, it's dumb. But it just doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. Because, and the picks, I guess we could talk about them or go over, but the main point still stands. And at the end of the day, everybody kind of realizes, where the biggest superstars went. I just think it was because they want to present it, because Vince McMahon wanted to try his best to convince everybody, hey, we're not just a bunch of sideshow freaks. I think he did way more harm than good. I think that, even though he's about to run a football league, he didn't realize that it makes more sense to have my two franchise quarterbacks drafted first and have Becky Lynch go in the same round, but not first, not second. You could still have, and let me see if I got my math right. You could have Seth, then Brock, then Becky, then Roman, then, and I don't know why Drew was taken in the first round, but you could still have Drew.
Yeah, shout out to Drew McIntyre, first round draft pick.
It's okay. So wait a minute. So Samoa Joe and Alexa Bliss are low round picks, but Drew McIntyre goes first. If that isn't the Oakland Raiders picking Darius Hayward-Bay, I don't know. Maybe they did stay the NFL draft a little bit, because that Darius Hayward-Bay pick still gets Fs. But
hey, I'm just saying. They forget about Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, God bless him. Good for him. Great for him. Not even going to be facetious, but great for him. Because, really was making me wonder. I've been saying ever since before the Royal Rumble, if Drew McIntyre doesn't win, Seth does not need to win. I was saying that. When the women's championship stuff happened, Charlotte, there was no reason for Charlotte to be in the match, but she was in the match. And on top of that, she won a women's title to make it a double match. There's no such thing as, but it makes sense. WWE is not out here to make sense. I don't even know if they're out here to sell tickets at this point. So Drew McIntyre, if you're going to draft him in the first round and make him seem like he's still relevant, do wins and losses matter? Do cold runs matter? Or is it just, you're tall, you're chiseled, Vince liked you the first time you were here anyway, you'll figure it out.
Hey, my boy went first round, which was a little surprising. My other boy went second round.
And here's the confusing thing to me. When Bobby went, they didn't announce Lana with him.
No, they didn't. My bad. Lana's a free agent, if I'm saying it correct.
Yeah, when Rusev went, Lana wasn't announced with him. Now, her kayfabe boo and her real life boo are both on Raw. Aleister Black got drafted to Raw after Zelina Vega and Andrade got drafted to Raw. Naomi's still free agents. Charlotte's on Raw, Andrade's on Raw. Blah, 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 blah. And, Charlotte being on Raw doesn't surprise me, because I think,
surprises me.
It doesn't surprise me because Raw is 3 hours and Raw is going to need a good women's division. But I don't know.
At the same time.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a good move. I don't know if it's going to be a good move because Sasha and Bayley being a heel for the first time, and with the tag team championships, currently being on Raw, you have a brand versus brand angle right there. Kabuki Warriors, they're heels right now. Bayley, she's exploring this new territory. if you want to actually book a good match, because you already don't want to make sense. You already don't want to use common logic. You already don't want to use TV logic. Whether we're fans that don't know anything about wrestling or whether we're TV critics that don't know anything about filming TV. Either way, you don't know what you're doing. So that's a match right there, a Survivor Series, that will make me at least interested for that 15 minutes. I don't know about the rest of the show, but for 15 minutes, I'm interested in that match. And I want to see which brand walks away with the titles. But as of right now, I mean, dude, like, okay, we got Sasha, Bayley. Who else is on SmackDown? That's relevant.
All right. So I wrote down all the picks. So.
Oh, that was smart. You
got to keep record. You got to work on it. So we have Sasha Banks. We have Lacey Evans. We have Bayley. We have Carmella. Oh, that reminds me. How dare you, USA Network? How dare y'all do this to us?
Which specialty title did they not take? Like, which belts did they give SmackDown?
Oh, my God. SmackDown got an Intercontinental Championship.
Jesus. Raw took every damn belt. 3 hours my ass. This Vince McMahon being Vince McMahon. But my bad. Go ahead. I'll rant in a minute.
How dare y'all separate R-Truth and Carmella? I can't believe they did that to us. But maybe now Carmella is probably gonna get put back in the title picture for the SmackDown Women's title.
Yeah. So
that's who we have right now on SmackDown. We have 5 women, and Raw has 9.
Gonna be some call-ups.
Shout out to Liv Morgan being the last pick.
And still going to Raw. I mean, damn. I mean, you couldn't even give Liv Morgan to SmackDown?
Liv Morgan got picked, but no Ruby Riott, no Sarah Logan.
And here's the thing. Samoa Joe is hurt. Sasha Banks might be hurt.
No, she's hurt. They don't Mike.
Ember Moon got picked.
Ember Moon did not get picked. Matter of fact, Ember Moon ain't even on the list.
See, Ember Moon...
I have a thought on that on why.
She's hurt.
She could be hurt. I don't know about that, but I have another thought. I'm going to save it for later.
Well, I mean, you say save it for later. What's yesterday's tomorrow? What do you got to say?
No, I'm saying it for later because we got other stuff to get into, not just the draft.
Well, yeah, but it's only been 20 minutes. Well, not even 20 minutes yet.
I know it ain't been 20 minutes. That's the crazy thing.
I mean, but Darnell, that's because I'm trying to, this.
I'm gonna put it like this: since Raw drafted the Kabuki Warriors, that means there's a slot open for another
brand. Fair. I think that there's going to be, at least on the women's side, a lot of call-ups. I think Shayna Baszler's been overdue. Ronda Rousey. I just checked her official website just to see if there's anything, nothing. Just, articles about Total Divas and stuff like that. But we all know Total Divas is like...
That's all I needed to know, that she's on Total Divas. She coming back. She just ain't going to announce when she coming back.
Darnell, do you know how far Total Divas is back taped?
She's also doing the 911 show on Fox. So.
But Darnell, that's my point. Total Divas is back taped 8 months to a year. She's doing a TV show now. Her surgery was for her hand. She broke her hand at WrestleMania. Bro, she is maybe the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, regardless.
Well, if we remember correctly, that point was really one of the main reasons she was supposed to be leaving.
No. But, dude, think about it. That's the main part she was supposed to be leaving. That in itself takes 9 months. Has the big announcement come yet?
That's a good point.
I mean, you leave because of a hand. You're the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. You want to start a family? Great, cool. When you make the big announcement, we're all adults here. You leave to start the family, but we haven't heard the big announcement yet, and you've been gone since... because she didn't even do a rematch. So you've been gone since April. It takes 9 months, and you're not going to wrestle pregnant because you've been waiting so long for this. You're not going to take those risks, quote unquote.
So we're already, 6 months in?
Yeah. And no big announcement.
She'll be back.
Darnell, we're talking at least another year.
Yeah, she'll be back. Fire Desire didn't get drafted.
I mean, do you talk about Total Divas and that point, dude, right there. And then here's the crazy thing. Fire and Desire are on TV every week. Fire and Desire are around. Fire and Desire get segments. Fire and Desire get promos. Fire and Desire just had a title match. How about Steph trying to figure out when she's going to come? Because here was my main point with Ronda Rousey. Here was my biggest point before we got off in the rabbit hole. And it relates to Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, too. Either you break up Fire and Desire or you stop sunning them as a tag team like this when they're on TV every week. Because with Shayna Baszler, she's having the Oscar run. Granted, she's lost matches in NXT before. But right now, it's like you're looking and it's like, okay, who's going to beat Shayna Baszler? With Ronda Rousey being out of commission for a while, and with the Four Horsemen out here, you know, having matches for draft orders and tagging against each other and stuff like that, the ship has sailed. We have gone to Sting and Undertaker territory. So with SmackDown, I will take your usual wait and see approach because 5, even for a 2-hour show, is a very thin division, especially considering the fact that the women's tag team titles will be defended on both brands. There are a lot of free agents and there are a lot of people in NXT who aren't about to win that championship. And probably
that is the only way you can get on both brands.
Yeah. Hope let's do prayer hands and say hopefully, because the rest of the year I can understand. Crown Jewel, Survivor Series, those are two co-branded pay-per-views. TLC, they're probably too lazy to give a brand TLC. Then they have the Royal Rumble. They'll probably get complacent and not split up Elimination Chamber, but all we can do is hope. Because having The Fiend lose 2 world title matches, because it makes absolutely no unless, and I don't know why Fox would do it. I don't know who they would have to give Fox because Charlotte ain't going to be enough. I'm sorry, Charlotte ain't enough if you're taking away The Fiend. But having The Fiend lose 2 world title matches back to back when he's just getting started with this character, I really hope that these pay-per-views aren't co-branded going forward. And I really hope that the Women's Tag Team Championship is the only way to compete on both brands.
Vince, do not get lazy on us. You got a whole bunch of money from Fox. You better have branded.
Because
You have the money.
having Seth Rollins and The Fiend continue this feud. And here's another thing. When Raw went off the air, and granted, Darnell, we are doing TV recap because the draft was supposed to be the damn focus of TV for the past few days. But when Raw went off, Seth Rollins burnt the Firefly Funhouse. And I don't know why Vince McMahon has to have everybody have a catchphrase. I know The Fiend has a catchphrase and it's hypocritical, but it's just burn it down, then turning around and burning something down is wildly corny. It's amazingly corny. It's surprising.
I think you're the one that noticed that. I think everybody else was noticing that every time Bray Wyatt has a house, it gets burnt down.
And Rambling Rabbit died again. We need a Kenny counter on Rambling Rabbit. But, yeah. But, dude, you don't do stuff like that and kind of mail in the feud. So now what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to keep us invested in what's going to go on with this feud, but it's Crown Jewel. The only time a title has ever changed hands at Crown Jewel is when the Universal title was vacant. And then on top of that, it was a title change, but it wasn't because Baron Corbin knocked Braun Strowman out with the belt and Brock Lesnar hit an F5 and it was over. So Brock Lesnar walked out of Crown Jewel with the world title, so it really wasn't a surprise. There really wasn't anything interesting. That was as safe as you could have played it. At this point, it's because then what makes it even worse, Darnell, in the United States, it's going to be Halloween. So the kiddies going to be in school having their little Halloween parties. Everybody's going to be at work having their Halloween parties, trying to hit on the one girl and the one guy dressed up as the sexy nurse. And nobody's going to see it. maybe that's Vince's logic for having Bray lose again. Nobody's going to see it from the States. Nobody who actually watches the storylines and keeps up is going to care.
Actually, that's on a Thursday. Well, I guess I'll be watching it. Being that I don't work on Thursdays. I ain't that day up on now.
But it's like, if you want to have an international show that's super hyped up and all that fun stuff, go ahead. Don't try to market it to us like a real pay-per-view. And nothing ever happens at this show. Because that's how you lost Madison Square Garden. I don't know why they learned with Saudi Arabia that, we have to air the show or else people in the United States won't care. If people in the United States won't care, then we won't have ratings. And if we won't have ratings, Saudi Arabia won't want us. Because Madison Square Garden said, well, how come we can't have nobody else work here, but you won't even televise our show? Those little social media posts ain't enough. These guys want to do pay-per-views. These guys want to pack out our arena. These guys want to make us some money. These guys want to sell $30 and $40 tickets at the door. You just want to do some little itty-bitty thing just to say because you've been here 100 years. And now WWE airs an hour of the Madison Square Garden show. But whatever. Is there anything else? Because at this point, Hell in a Cell, it's happened. Whoever would probably listen to this podcast knows what happened at Hell in a Cell. So is there anything WWE-wise that we should discuss?
I'm looking at this list, and I'm trying to figure out, why is Leo Rush undrafted?
He's in NXT. Wait, why is he an undrafted free agent? He's in NXT.
Now, I got this list from CBS Sports, so.
Is Finn Balor an undrafted free agent?
No.
So Leo Rush just won a championship on NXT. 205 Live is on its way out the door. And the list that WWE gave CBS has Leo Rush on it?
Mm-hmm. Quite interesting.
It is. It almost makes you wonder, how is he going to fit in, though?
Surprisingly, somebody drafted Eric Rowan, I believe it was Raw, but Luke Harper didn't get drafted.
Here's the weird thing. Getting who they actually want. And with NXT being on Wednesday nights, you now have a scenario where NXT used to be developmental. You can still say it's developmental if you want, but once Vince made the desperation move to put what he thought the hardcore fans liked on cable to go against AEW, it no longer became developmental. You no longer have the opportunity. You no longer have the window to have these people learn on the job. They have to be ready. You've signed a bunch of top indie stars. You signed Keith Lee. You signed Punishment Martinez, who's now Damian Priest. You signed Donovan Dijak, who I'm not even going to pronounce that name that they gave him. You signed ACH. You signed Swerve Strickland. You signed a lot of people. You even put Finn Balor, who was Prince Devitt, who was the first leader of the Bullet Club, back down to face a former leader of the American branch of Bullet Club, Adam Cole. You have main eventers from other promotions. You have made men and women from other promotions. So when you put that show on cable to go against AEW, you're saying we have a third brand. And at the Performance Center is developmental. The kids who are in the gym every day, the kids who are learning how to bump, the kids who are learning how to promo with Coach Bloom, that's developmental. So Bennett's of the world, it kind of makes you wonder, Darnell, AEW started their TV. So if Luke Harper and Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis get the releases like they want, AEW has their storylines going. AEW has their people in the first couple matches who have low win-loss records who are kind of building their way up. I mean, it's not as automatic as it was.
That's kind of hard for you to transition on because you already went there. Real quick. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's a long process. It's a hard, thought-out process. Yeah, I know. I was there. I was there from March of this year,
thinking about how I'm going to do this, doing all my research, trying to get everything right. What platforms can we use and how we going to record it and how we going to make it sound good and make it all this happen. And then I came upon Anchor. The Anchor app on my phone, the easiest choice I could ever make to do a podcast. It's free to use. You don't got to pay for nothing. You can record episodes whenever you're ready. You can edit it and then you can release it when you want to. And you don't have to worry about trying to figure out how you're going to distribute it on other platforms because Anchor has partnerships with Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Cast, whatever you name it. Because the Playmakers Wild podcast is the podcast that I use. We are on all them platforms. We are on 9 platforms just by using the Anchor app. So pretty much all the questions that you have questions about doing a podcast, go to the Anchor app or go to the Anchor website, anchor.fm.com, and just search through it, ask questions. Because I tell you, a free app that does all this, there's nothing more you can ask for. I even got friends, they doing their podcast on the Anchor app. Faith Talk, you might have heard of it because it's very good. And it's great that it's an app like this, it's a website like this that makes it easier for people to do podcasts and do what they love best, talking about the things that they love to talk about. So give Anchor a try, see how much you like it. We'll love to hear your podcast.
Who has the better roster, Raw or SmackDown?
I think SmackDown. I think SmackDown's roster in a 2-hour window is going to get it done.
So all of us in agreement because the people on Twitter said the same thing. 66% says SmackDown.
Yeah. So like, and real quick, because I know you want to transition, but I don't think Bray's getting traded. I think that they are going to make a ridiculous move. I think they're going to make the wrong choice, and I think they're going to have Bray lose again.
There is no list. There's no free agent signing yet.
Yeah, I think that might happen around like, let's see, it's we don't tape live. It's early. I think that's maybe an afternoon thing. That might be like a 2 Central, 3 p.m. Eastern thing. I don't really know what time they always do their big announcements, but I know they don't do it during like the morning drive and the morning sports shows. Because let's be honest, ain't nobody gonna say breaking news, so and so signed to SmackDown on first things first. So what I'm more interested in is why they threw out that little trade bait. Because again, and I'm saying this because I'm assuming that The Fiend will be on SmackDown, and I'm assuming that, Brock Lesnar, when he shows up, he'll show up. Those two aren't going to get together anytime soon.
You know what? Craig Velasquez ain't nobody say what brand he's on.
And he just signed a multi-year deal, so he's going to be around. But, you know. But yeah, so I think that, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, New Day. I think that right there, those are the ones who are going to be like focal points, win a lot of matches. We got Shinsuke. Then they get Miz too.
Yep.
Yeah, so that SmackDown, because we gotta remember Raw, they make the same excuse every week. It's hard writing 52 weeks of TV every year, and that's cool. But then you gave yourself, a handicap and had everybody available to you, and all you did was push the same storylines over and over and over until they were completely tired and had people off of TV, which is why you're doing another brand split. But, that's cool, whatever. I think Eric Bischoff has been doing good right now on SmackDown. I think SmackDown and the way that Fox is producing it, the way that Fox is presenting it, I think that's just going to be a better product. And I think that the people that they picked and the people that you would say really, really want it, like Roman and Bray, I think they're going to be like a big part of that. I think people are saying the Raw roster isn't as good. It's because they're kind of jaded towards Raw. They're jaded towards Seth Rollins, doing Seth Rollins things. Now he's the Fiend Hunter. Like you roll your eyes. It's just new nickname, just put in the moniker of the other person before Hunter and all that stuff. And I think people just think it's gonna be same old, to be real. I don't think a lot of people really think that the SmackDown roster is better than Raw's. I think that a lot of them are jaded.
To be honest, because I hate to do this. Y'all indies want to see Bray Wyatt win the title on the first go around. Do y'all think about this stuff that y'all be wanting?
I think for some people, it's not so much wanting Bray Wyatt to be champion right now. It's not wanting him to lose a major feud with his character so early.
But yet, Seth Rollins the champion. And you know the draft was coming.
But listen, because I'm answering your question. There's a lot of quote-unquote major feuds he could have had. They never did the Demon versus Fiend match. That feud right there, Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor have a match. He beats human Finn Balor handedly to debut. And it just goes dark. And then Finn pops up in NXT. That right there was going to be the Demon's first loss and the Fiend's first major win. At this point, you have to start thinking to yourself, do you really want somebody in NXT to be the Demon's first loss? Do you really want Adam Cole to be the Demon's first loss? Do you want Tommaso Ciampa to be the Demon's first loss? Do you want Johnny Gargano to be the Demon's first loss? No, you don't. You don't. If the Demon's ever gonna lose, because we would have guessed that Finn Balor is at least gonna be on NXT for the next 12 months. If the Demon was ever gonna lose a first match, how is it not the Fiend character? Now, the Fiend hasn't lost yet. But the way that they produced the match and the way that they put that match together, it did a good job of making him look like Jason, where you just can't kill him. But now we're in a situation where it's like, okay, now Seth Rollins is going to that place. What does that mean? Because I think human Bray just taking a lot of punishment and asking Seth, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me? Please stop. Is different than the Fiend taking a whole bunch of punishment and just not dying.
Dude, we knew from the start it was a bad idea. We knew from the start it was a bad idea.
Yeah, but at the same time, Darnell, you can't say we knew from the start this was a bad idea and then get mad at people and wonder why some of them want Bray to win the title. If you don't put Bray in this title feud, nobody wants Bray to win the title. Only the people with, like, you know, anime characters and wrestlers as their profile pictures and WWE is life and, like, you know, stuff like that. Those people, because those people complain about just about everything. But actual fans and, like, actual watchers, it's the insulting of intelligence that people are mad about. If you're going to put him in the feud, don't have him lose the first major feud, because you stalled on him beating the Demon and being the Demon's first loss. And now you're looking at it and it's like, wait a minute.
If anybody was thinking new, like, Seth Rollins ain't gonna lose the title already. He just got it back.
Like, dude, Roman Reigns is all but passed the torch to Seth. Roman Reigns said in interviews and all that stuff, like, you know, Seth would be a great face. And but, dude, Seth right now is the Raw World Champion. He beat Brock Lesnar after Brock Lesnar held the belt for a month. Right now, Seth Rollins is the guy. Now, if somebody else comes up to take the spot, if somebody gets called up from NXT, if somebody from the male side, because, you know, right now Becky Lynch has taken his spot, but if somebody from the male side comes up and can usurp Brock Lesnar, if somebody can usurp Seth Rollins, then cool. But as of right now, Brock Lesnar is the top heel. Brock Lesnar is the CM Punk. And Seth Rollins is John Cena, if you want to take it back to the PG era, to make it simple for some people. So, no, you're right, Darnell. He's not about to lose the title that he just got back. This guy was the Royal Rumble winner and got pushed this entire narrative for 4 months. Brock Lesnar wasn't going to be in the main event and didn't want to stay that long, so he opens up the WrestleMania winning the belt. Loses to Brock Lesnar again after Brock Lesnar cashes the Money in the Bank, wins it back a month later. He's been going back and forth with Brock Lesnar over a world title. How is he going to lose to Bray Wyatt? And I think that's why people are upset, Darnell. I don't think the majority of people want Bray Wyatt to be Universal Champion already. Because when Bray becomes Universal Champion, you come with the Andre the Giant problem. The Andre the Giant problem is who's going to beat him. How's he going to job? That's why Andre the Giant wasn't a 70-time or, broke the Bruno Sammartino reign for the WWE Championship. Because after a while, it's like, it gets stale. But that's why you don't put them in title matches.
I would get into the whole match, but I don't want to get into that. I think we got enough on Twitter.
I think everybody knows what's going to happen. There's no real need to.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, bro.
That was a long discussion that went on for a couple of days with different people.
Yeah, I think everybody, every podcast, every magazine, every dirt. Yeah, I think everybody got it.
Moving on to bigger and better things. Wednesday night is the new night for wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday Night Wars. It's off to a great start. AEW, NXT. I'm gonna put this out here. Some of y'all that's doing all this crap about AEW is killing NXT. I don't think y'all are actually paying attention. Or is, matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna cut them a break. You know what I think it is?
What?
The stuff we just talked about that's happening on Raw with the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
And they're taking it out on the wrong brand.
Mm.
Because NXT is, my goodness, the best brand on WWE.
I think a lot of the AEW fans that just stop watching WWE and just like to hate WWE. I think you're right. I think those are the people where it's just like they're just gonna bash WWE regardless. I think people that are using ratings right now, obviously, you have USA, you have TNT, you have two major networks, right? But dude, let's be honest. This is a brand that Vince just slapped up with no promotion. He just expected this brand to carry itself. It's a brand new show with developmental people. This is like asking a minor league baseball team to be on TBS to fix people's baseball fix. Nobody is going to watch that minor league team play their games on TBS, Darnell. And that's kind of sort of what NXT is going through. People got to, watch it. They don't know what it is. Nobody has the network.
Because to me, matter of fact, let me put it like this. Do you care about the ratings when it comes to the NXT AEW stuff?
I do, but not for NXT, because I just said the context for NXT. I care for AEW because, let's say, Darnell, NXT keeps their 600 to 700,000 people range. Those are the super hardcore fans. Those are the fans that WWE knows where it was like, okay, we'll just put out anything and that audience will watch it, which is, good to know, decent. AEW, though, I do pay attention because I want to see when they hit 2. I want to see when they hit 2.5. Because once AEW hits over 2 million on a consistent basis, they're basically Monday Night Raw. And that's WWE's flagship. And that's WWE's flagship on a different night, which means that once AEW Dynamite gets to 2 and NXT still can't hit 1, then you worry.
Ratings for AEW, the content for NXT.
Pretty much, because, both have good content. It's not like AEW sucks. I watched a little bit of AEW Dark. It's not that AEW's bad. AEW has good production value. I'd put their production value actually above SmackDown on Fox. I just think that it's both basically new brands. NXT has basically been promoted as an indie brand that's backed by WWE. AEW.
The reason why I asked you that because they made this whole big deal about the opening show of AEW destroying NXT on the first night. I was like, dude, everybody's been waiting for a new promotion wrestling TV show for the longest. Of course, everybody's attention was going to go to AEW on the first night.
Yeah, I mean, and both shows experienced rating drops though. Like both shows had significant drops, but you're on the right track. Your logic is correct.
See, that's I have a thought on that. The ratings. I expected the ratings to drop because y'all went all out for these shows on the first night of both of them coming off together.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another thing. They both come on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they literally both come on. Dude, Monday Night Nitro and Monday Night Raw didn't come on at the same time.
They were staggered.
Literally, AEW and NXT are both live at the same time. And for those people who, which is probably most people who can't do both at the same time, they got to pick one. And with you knowing that you can go back and watch NXT on the network or some other type of way, you're going to choose AEW. Because you know what? I can catch up on NXT the following day.
And now, because a lot of people aren't going to choose NXT when they can watch on the network, which is probably going to screw over the people that have the network, because Vince is probably going to say, well, that's the reason nobody's watching, take it off the network. AEW Dark. AEW Dark is kind of like Velocity or Heat, but it's still free AEW content. It's still a real AEW show. I don't think people are going to take Dark as a substitute for Dynamite, but maybe that's what Vince is hoping. Maybe right now Vince is like, well, they just announced a dark match show. They're too early for a dark match show. We'll be okay.
Yeah. So here's my thing. So I believe NXT content-wise was better than AEW on both weeks.
Yeah.
Because what Triple H is doing with NXT is just amazing.
Yeah.
AEW gonna have their moments. I'm not saying it's bad. They do good ones, but NXT is better. So I'm looking forward to see what week 3 has in store for AEW, because I already know what's in store for NXT. And I can tell you right now, if everybody will actually pay attention and know what's going to come on NXT, I think NXT is gonna have some rate.
I mean, at the end of the day, NXT is full of main eventers from all over the world. And that's the difference between AEW and NXT. Chris Jericho is a legend. He, with this latest run that he's had over the past year and a half, he has firmly implanted himself in the top 10.
Jericho has a stable.
Yeah. Inner Circle.
I don't know why that's the name, but I agree with that. Like, could have did better with the name of the group, but he has a stable. I've never seen Jericho have a stable.
Yeah, here's my point, though. Here's my point. Chris Jericho has firmly implanted himself in the top 10 of the pro wrestling echelon. That being said, after Chris Jericho, you have Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega made a lot of money, put a lot of asses in seat in New Japan. Young Bucks, they put a lot of asses in seat in Ring of Honor and New Japan. And then you start kind of sort of having to go down. You got Neville, Pac, who had the Dragon Gate run. He came back, won the Dragon Gate title, out of loyalty for his home promotion. And then you go down the list some more, and it's like, okay.
Moxley.
Yep, Moxley, but CZW, yeah. But the WWE run, everybody's always going to rank him as the third member of the Shield. Everybody's going to look at his WWE run and just be like, what happened? Everybody's going to look at that episode of Stone Cold podcast he did where he basically said he got complacent and Stone Cold just stone-faced him. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, Pat.
That was the most greatest moment of all.
But I mean, it's because he literally just flat out told Stone Cold to his face in an official media setting, yeah, I'm complacent. I don't know. I want a title. Like, what are you supposed to do? It is awkward as fuck. But you have Mox, you have Pat, you have
Hangman Page.
But no. See, you know what? Let me finish my point first. Let me just finish my point first. You have Young Bucks, Pac, Moxley, Chris Jericho, any other person I mentioned because I don't want to keep forgetting. Those are 5 people where it's like, okay, they're super popular. They main evented in their past eras or they main evented like in their past promotions. Look at the rest of the roster in AEW. And it's a lot of people that they're giving a shot that they believe in. Everybody on NXT was one of the best in the industry at one point. And by one of the best, I mean top 3. Red Dragon, a tag team in Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, a 3-time Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. Roderick Strong, a Ring of Honor legend. That's just Undisputed Era. You got Mia Yim. You got Keith Lee. You got Donovan Dijak. You got Tommaso Ciampa. You got Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano was basically the John Cena of American independent wrestling. You got NXT UK, where all the NXT UK guys can come over. You got Pete Dunne, who was the leader of British Strong Style. You got Rhea Ripley. You got Walter. There's like everybody on NXT's roster main evented. Everybody on NXT's roster was able to get whatever division they were in to be marquee for at least a show. You don't look at NXT's roster and see a lot of people that they're just taking a chance on. That, to me, is why I think the content is so much better just immediately because, A, NXT isn't a new show, and, they've been going for a while. It's just on a new network. And, B, NXT is full of main eventers.
I would say this to AEW credit because a lot of people didn't like it, but I kind of like it because it threw something new. It was unpredictable. The Young Bucks lost the first round of the tag team tournament.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time we actually saw somebody in an important position have themselves lose and not be the focal point of something? Such a breath of fresh air.
I say what? I mean, that makes it unpredictable now. Who actually going to win the tournament now?
I don't know what their original plans were, but after seeing that Shane McMahon feud, I think they made the right decision.
So they got that going. I'm ready. I think that now the Lucha Brothers are the favorites now. So we'll see if they get past the first round. If they don't get past the first round, it's really gonna be up in the air.
Oh yeah, super up in the air.
This Inner Circle stable, I can flow with the LAX. Jack, I can't think of the last name right now. Hager.
Yeah. Well, Jake Hager.
Jake Hager. I be wanting to say the other name.
Yeah.
They got some quality back up there, Jericho.
Yeah, and it takes time. Undisputed Era, again, they've had like a year. It looks weird right now because LAX just left Impact. It looks weird right now because Jake Hager just had his MMA debut. It looks weird because, Sammy Guevara is one of those people that they were just giving a chance that I was just talking about. He's the young guy in the stable who's probably going to be learning from the vets. But I think it'll look...
Yeah, he better learn because I'm not kind of feeling it right now.
Well, he's the young guy. You got to get used to him. Every stable has to have, like, that one guy.
Cody Rhodes, got his brother, the Young Buck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's back in. Didn't take long, by the way.
No, it didn't.
How that goes. But I can tell you, NXT, Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm.
The rubber match between Dijak Cobra and Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm. That match is pretty much a 4+ star match every time it happens.
Tommaso Ciampa against Angel Gaza.
Back in the ring, first time in a while. About to be a beatdown.
That's three matches I just listed.
Yeah, and NXT is 2 hours now, so expect at least 5.
And the rematch for the North American Championship will be happening. No,
that's the following
week. Not now. Say that back. Following week. They said in 2 weeks. So you already got a key matchup for the following week already anyway.
And that's going to be another thing with NXT versus AEW because there's only 4 NXT pay-per-views a year. Which means that, pay-per-view quality shows are going to be happening on NXT TV. The way that Raw kind of telegraphs stuff, the way that Raw tries to save things for the pay-per-view, even though you know what's going to happen, that's not the case with NXT. I mean, the way it was going, we thought that Adam Cole on Undisputed Era, it was looking kind of shaky. It was looking kind of rough. But prophecies take time. And damn, did it take time for Adam Cole to win that NXT belt the first time. You don't get down the main roster. And as of right now, there's only like one champion in AEW. That's another tricky thing that's going to happen. Because, two. They have two. They have the women's champion. You got 2 singles champions right now. It's kind of tricky. Got to see if there's going to be a mid-card title. Got to crown the tag team championships. And, let's be fair. The United States has been kind of down on tag team wrestling. The indie crowd loves tag team wrestling, but when you get to the big time, tag teams have kind of taken the back seat. So we got to see how long people stay interested in a tag team tournament that doesn't involve the young.
I think one thing people are saying is, and I want to see how you feel about this. NXT need to leave Orlando.
They don't. I think if NXT leaves Orlando, the same thing that happened when Impact left the Impact Zone is going to happen. Full Sail makes NXT. Now, if you want NXT to be the third brand and tour around, that's one thing. But I think once you start touring and once you start doing that, the more and more you change things, the more and more you fiddle with it, the more and more Vince is going to get involved. Vince is already involved because it's on cable. Once it becomes touring, once it becomes just like the other shows, you're dead in the water. You need to stay in Full Sail as long as possible because you need to keep the illusion up that NXT is a different promotion going up against a different promotion.
Because you see, I know you've been seeing it on Twitter, like people saying like the crowd at AEW is making the show a whole lot better than NXT. Like,
no, because SummerSlam will sell out, Survivor Series will sell out, and you'll still complain. WWE has big crowds all the time at the big pay-per-views, and we complain every damn time because the shows aren't good. AEW still has to be good. Hell, you can watch the Saints-Jaguars game. Go back at the NFL condensed game. Tons of Saints fans filled up the gaps where Jags fans were. Stadium was full. The game was still boring as shit. If you don't put out a good product on the field or in the ring, time will fix everything.
so I think so. Me and you on the same court. I like it at Full Sail. I like
the last time there was an American promotion that really was looking like it was going to give WWE a run for its money, it was Impact. And then they let Hulk Hogan in there, they let Eric Bischoff in there, and they let Vince Russo in there all at the same time. And Hulk Hogan, somehow, some way, convinced Dixie Carter and the Carter family to put Impact on Monday night. Once they did that and that failed, they moved them back to Thursdays with the quickness. Then they started touring. Once they started touring, they ran out of money. Before you knew it, they were bankrupt. People were leaving and buying the NWA, and now they're in Canada. Now, WWE has the money to tour AEW, but will they make that money back? I mean, NXT, my bad. But will they make that money back? A company. It's not speculation. Do some legwork. Since you want to be a tweeter or a blogger, do some legwork, go on the corporate page, look up the quarterly reports. Live event money has been down.
With that being said, first week I did the poll on Twitter and social media and on Facebook. NXT won. Last week, AEW.
That's good. That's perfect. That's exactly how it should be. Because at the end of the day, and what Michael Cole and Triple H and what everybody's been saying, competition is good. WWE right now potentially has a cash cow with SmackDown. There is a draft, no more wild card rule. Yes, Bray Wyatt might take a job at Crown Jewel, but for the most part, Revival, New Day, they're good. That might always be high 2 mil, low 3 mil. Maybe it might get up to 3.5. WWE is going to be fine. Having good, healthy competition with AEW, with their developmental brand, is such a subtle flex, but it's good. Hopefully, AEW wins this week, and then maybe NXT comes back the fourth week. That fourth month, you want it to be 2-2. You want everybody to come out the gate swinging because hopefully everybody's paying attention to each other. It's okay. In the NFL, in the NBA, when people ask, what do you think about your opponent? They say, we watched film. They say they have good so-and-so, such and such. I mean, Viking Raiders. Remember how they said they won the IWGP and ROH? And it's okay to mention where you've been. It's okay to mention what you've won because it makes you look more credible. And, we know why you moved NXT to Wednesdays in the first place. So hopefully they watch AEW. Hopefully AEW wins. Hopefully that makes the NXT episode the week after this one that much better.
That's for y'all. Those of you who care about ratings, It's not going to change because AEW is going to keep winning because more people are interested in a new product.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a ratings person, don't expect anything to change. But if you're looking for content wise, it's 1-1. To me, it's 2-0, but to the public, it's 1-1.
Yeah, basically, if you want to put it in a very simple thing, if you see a parking lot with 10 Rolls Royces, it's worth much more than a parking lot full of 10 2000 Mustangs. You can get a 2000 Mustang anywhere. Where are you going to get a Rolls Royce? That's kind of sort of where it's like, all right, a lot of good stuff over here, but these guys are going to for AEW. They're going to wrestle for New Japan. They're going to wrestle for Dragon Gate. They're going to wrestle for blah, 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 blah. But if you want to see Adam Cole, you want to see Johnny Gargano, if you want to see Keith Lee, it's the only place you're going to be able to get him. So
with that being said,
wait, you are you plugging something?
Yeah, I don't want to forget what I was going to say. With the Kabuki War, I'm at my statement earlier, with the Kabuki Wars being drafted to Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing how Finn Balor has came back.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else, Master Champion came back. Somebody else came back. I can't think of it right now. But is it possible that my girl Amber Moon might be coming back?
She's hurt.
Because it was rumored that they was going to send Asuka back down.
Well, Asuka messed around and won a belt. I mean, maybe if, they lose. Maybe if they lose. It would be nice to see that trio actually work with Io Shirai being added. I mean, it'll, like I said, Darnell, that's why we need to root for AEW to genuinely win with the fans this week. Not ratings, but fan participation. Because if AEW wins amongst the fans, that's going to force WWE to do some big moves. Now, mind you, on the card that you saw for this week, did you see Finn Balor having a match?
No, I didn't.
Okay, see, that's the problem. 2-hour show. Now, if Finn Balor just randomly comes out at the beginning of the show and sets up a match, that's one thing.
Oh, you know what? Kushida and Walter's match was damn good.
It was, but before I forget now, it's one thing to announce Finn Balor coming back. It's another thing to have Finn Balor come back in a crowded NXT title picture and he doesn't do anything, just like he wasn't doing anything on SmackDown. You still got to have your big attractions wrestle. Asuka going back down, Ember Moon going back down, that does nothing if they're never on TV.
Yeah, well, hey, we do get Tommaso Ciampa, so.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, though.
Hold Finn Balor back because, we got Tommaso Ciampa on the card.
But that's what I mean. No. That's bad. That is a bad way to think about it. You are 2 hours now. You have no excuse. You're doing Donovan Dijak, Keith Lee, 4,000. No. That is a terrible way to think about it because that is complacency. That's what WWE always does. They wiggle out something in front of you. They make you say ooh and ah, and that's the reason why you were supposed to tune in to NXT over AEW. Finn Balor needs to be on TV wrestling. Finn Balor needs to basically be back. Finn Balor needs to show why Finn Balor was Finn Balor. And while Tommaso Ciampa and Adam Cole are doing their thing, Finn Balor needs to become a legitimate contender. That's why Asuka and Ember Moon coming back down. Dude, look how crowded that picture is. Some of those people need to hurry up and get called up at this point.
First, we need to get Shayna Baszler first.
Yeah, and then on top of that, Rhea Ripley, Dakota Kai. I mean, and mind you, the Women's Tag Team Championship never ended up going down to NXT. It was never, ever defended at NXT, even though it was supposed to be for every brand. So, that if you're going at it that way, no. AEW needs to win a lot more weeks for them to realize, okay, we can't just, think that Asuka going down and having her music hit and stand in the middle of the ring and cheer is enough to sway people over. Asuka's going to have to actually wrestle a match that means something.
Well, week 3.
Yep.
I think that's like yo day off from the Twitter.
Oh, well, it's my day off from the Twitter, but I still be working.
That's why I say from the Twitter. That's why I put it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I scroll and retweet every now and again just to see, what's popping. But, yeah.
Hey man, I'm having fun double streaming and stuff though. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey man, it's the sportsman's dream. It's the sportsman's dream. I appreciate all the brothers that can. All the brothers that have Sundays off. All the brothers that have Saturdays off. All the brothers that have Wednesday nights off. More power to you. Do it for me. Because I wish on Saturdays I could just have 4 different TVs, a laptop, 2 phones, just streaming every game.
But on this week, I won't be able to do it because I'll be working.
And there you go. And there you go.
Unfortunately, I'm about to do some catching up.
Yeah, well, thank God for YouTube. Thank God for YouTube paying people some money and making it seem worth it. Because, man, them early 2000s was rough, Darnell. People actually had to trade DVDs and videotapes. My God.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's all I got to. College. We'll talk NFL. Shitty week for the both of us.
Yeah, because what happened on Monday Night Football, just gonna break. Oh my gosh.
What?
I just laughed. Cause I'm saying like, hey man, y'all just go over this on a college podcast, and it just happened in the NFL. Like you can't make this stuff up.
I wish Scott Van Pelt's bad beat segment was not just for college, because oh my God, 5 field goals and a missed extra point. Jesus Christ, the kicker. If you are betting on Detroit to cover your spread. I don't even know what the spread was. But my God, once you saw that 4th field goal, you were like, oh, shit. Oh, no. But, yeah, be talking about that, talk college, all that good stuff. Y'all enjoy your week. Y'all watch NWA Power on YouTube. It's free. I used to work for the NWA. It's near and dear to my heart. I'll stop being salty for Billy Corgan firing everybody and all that good stuff. But that's okay. Watch it. It's good. Jim Cornette's on it. Watch it just to hate on him. Just watch it. Support it. It's good. You want authentic stuff. You want people to stop flipping and knee slapping and all that stuff. If you're an old fogey that complains every time you see somebody do a somersault off the top rope, watch NWA. And, yeah, that's it. Fuck the Titans. Go Ryan Tannehill. Marcus Mariota, hope you have a nice career somewhere else. You just need a fresh start because Nashville was not good to you. Nashville was not good enough for you, and you'll be better elsewhere. Jameis, you on the other hand, Tampa was very patient. You might be the problem.